Well, where are we exploring today? We are in Niagara-on-the-Lake at the Virgil Methodist Cemetery in the township of Niagara.
And we are just north of the intersection of Niagara Stone Road and 4 Mile Creek Road. This is an inactive cemetery. We are actually quite close to a large intersection, which you will probably notice from the background noise. Some of the families buried here are Lawrence, Corus, Castleman, Cushman, Anderson, a whole bunch of other names as well. We're standing in front of the grave of my 4th great-grandmother, Elizabeth Coggle. Elizabeth Coggle is typical of the experience of a lot of War of 1812 widows. Her husband, George Coggle, was killed in the Battle of Lundy's Lane in 1814. She was left with a family of 9 children on a tiny pension to support. She had a very difficult life providing for her family, but she had a very long life. She died in 1851 at the age of 77, and she's buried here.
So as you can see here, there's a large empty spot of land in this cemetery, which actually was occupied by a church at one time. You can see the headstones this side. And out further, you can see Niagara Stone Road, where we believe the entrance of the church was.
We're standing by the grave of Belvedere Stevens, who died in 1878 at the age of 31. We just wanted to point out that this is typical of a lot of the stones in this cemetery, which are now flat and are slowly sort of being overgrown by grass. But as you can see, this stone is still perfectly legible.
Here's another stone, as Tim was talking about. It is almost completely buried as well. There are many stones in this cemetery that are in this kind of condition.
We're here by the grave of Catherine Lawrence. She died in 1843. The Lawrence family were extremely important. They donated the land for this cemetery. And at one time, Virgil was called Lawrenceville. So they're a very, very old Niagara family.
Well, now we're at what we believe the front of the property. And here's another family, Shaw. But one thing we wanted to point out, if you're out cemetery hunting, which we like to do here in Niagara, you need to check the outer perimeter of the property. As you can see, a headstone there. But here's one we found that we almost tripped right over, and it's 1929. And so just keep an eye for the outer perimeter of the cemeteries.
Here is the grave of Edway Wesley Corus, who died in 1929. He is we believe, the last person possibly to be buried in this cemetery. Next to it is a very interesting old stone. This spot here would have at one time held a photograph, possibly a daguerreotype on glass. And actually, if you look closely, you can see the remains of the metal clip. But unfortunately, the picture is long gone, and this stone dates from 1884.
Go.
This is a beautiful old obelisk for the Cushman. It marks the Cushman family plot. On the side facing us is Isaac Cushman, who died in 1880, and his wife Lucy Longhurst, who lived all the way until 1917. I have a personal connection to Lucy. She was the sister of my great-great-grandmother's first husband, and there's a number of family members buried in this plot, as you can see from the footstones around the Cushman plot.
So, thanks again for joining us. Here we are exploring again in Virgil. We're off to see if we can find another cemetery. But we thought we'd just bring this to you, and stay tuned for more cemeteries that we are hunting.